What's up, everybody? I have right here a baby pastel ball python, and in this video we're going to talk about just how big this little thing is going to grow up to be. Stay tuned. What's up, everybody? Anthony with Granddaddy.herps back again with another video. Yes! In today's video, as you saw in the intro, we're going to talk all about ball python sizes. I'm going to show you something that is just about hatchling, a little bit older than hatchling, and I'm going to show you something that's over 3,000 grams, which is full-grown, adult female, and you will see all the stages in between. I will do, like a baby fresh out the egg or hatchling, and then you'll see something around 6 months, probably around a year, and then something around 2 years, so you can get an idea is just how fast your snake can grow, potentially grow, or just how slow it can grow depending on how much food you offer it. So sit back, relax, and check out this video. It's gonna be a good one. Okay guys, so here we have a few things that you'll see. I've got a ball python egg right here. Let me turn down this brightness a little bit so you can get a better look at it. But here is an old crunchy dried up ball python egg, and here's the second one. So believe it or not, this snake was just inside one of these about a month or two ago. And she actually hatched out very, very small. She came out of a really small egg, but on average, a ball python comes out of the egg weighing about 50 grams. So very, very small. This girl is just probably about 2 months old. And again, at 2 months old, the snakes can actually get a lot bigger than this. I had to assist feed her, and it took a little while to get her going, but this is about the size you would expect, essentially a month out of the egg, approximately this size. So not too big, probably about a foot long, really, really basic, really, really small. This is pretty much what everyone is going to be after when they buy their first ball python. And this is actually the size I recommend buying if you are new into owning a ball python as a pet. And this is a genetic mutation, so that's why it doesn't look like your standard ball python. It actually has a gene called pastel, which is giving it all these nice yellow colors, the blushed out head, and for some more advanced keepers, she also potentially contains the recessive trait of the puzzle gene. She's a 66% hit for puzzle, meaning both of her parents carried at least one copy of the trait, so there's a shot that she may have had that trait passed on. But let's get into something that's more around, let's say, 6 months old. Okay guys, you're gonna see a few snakes here, and I like to transition the different snakes so you can see, you can actually see with your eyes the growth. So believe it or not, these two snakes are very, very close in age. We got a crazy one, but believe it or not, they're actually pretty close in age. This girl's not happy to be out. Look at that. I'm gonna get her put away just for the safety of the animal, but you can see within 6 months they can get these two sizes right here. So 1 second guys. Okay, so back to what I was saying is, believe it or not, these two animals are really close in age, and that just goes to show you their growth mainly is determined on the amount of food that you offer them and their willingness to actually eat. So this female right here, it actually took a few meals requiring me to assist feed her. Now sometimes ball pythons, actually pretty often in the industry, ball pythons, when they come out of the egg, they just don't want to eat, or they don't really know how to do it yet. And so in the wild, this animal would not have probably survived. It probably would have starved itself to death. And so what I had to do is I actually had to assist feed it, which I have got videos on how to do that if you ever run into that scenario. This animal, on the other hand, on the right, she never misses a meal. So this animal right here, she's a pastel enchi desert ghost, so she contains the codominant trait of pastel and the codominant trait of enchi, and she is visually expressing the recessive trait of desert ghost, and that's where she gets those really bright colors along with the cleanliness in the pattern. This animal here, she's actually got 4 codominant traits. She contains black pastel, special, and what's the other one? And blitz. And she's also possibly carrying the recessive trait of hypomelanism. So one of her parents actually carried one copy of hypomelanism and potentially passed it on to her. But that's a whole nother video. But with consistent feeding, you can see she actually gets much larger. This animal is roughly around 400 grams, okay? And this one's, again, is roughly around 200 to 250 grams, if I should guess. I'm pretty good at guessing weights. I've been doing this for a very long time, and they're both a little over a foot, about a foot and a half. So again, it mainly comes down to what you are feeding them. And that'll determine the growth. Now, as far as feeding schedules go, I like to feed once a week a sizable prey item that is just a little bit larger than the widest point of the animal's body. That way the animal's full. Now, if you like to feed a little bit more regularly, you can actually feed them an item that is slightly smaller than the widest part about once every 5 days. And you know, not get an obese animal. You don't want to excessively overfeed the animal. You don't want to feed it twice a week with a prey item that's larger than the largest size of the largest width of the animal's body, because what that'll promote is obesity in the animal. And believe it or not, snakes can actually develop obesity where they start to get fat deposits that surround their organs, and they can actually die from that. So we don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna put the smaller one away. We'll leave this one here, and we'll get something that's closer to a year in age. So I've got two more examples to show you. Now here's the thing. This girl is a female. More often than not, the females are going to grow a little bit faster than the males. These two here, these are males. And what this one is here on my left is he's actually an orange dream yellow belly, and he contains one copy of two different recessive genes. So he is containing the desert ghost trait and the piebald trait. Even though you can't see it, he contains it because his parents were the visual expression of the recessive traits that they contained. And this one, he is a pastel spot nose, and he is also 100% double het, desert ghost and clown, which are also, again, two different recessive traits. These guys want to give me a hard time today, but see if I can make them sit still. But both of these males are about a year old, and they actually could be much bigger, but they both had a fast in the winter time and have both been back on feed. They're both about 2 feet, a little over 2 feet long, both weighing in right at about 600-700 grams. So this is what you would expect on a steady once a week feeding schedule, is a snake that looks approximately this big. Wow, they don't want to play nice today, guys. But yeah, right at about a year old, this is what you should expect them to look like. So if you want a pet that really takes some time to really let you enjoy them, you can see them grow slow. Ball pythons are excellent for that because they don't get too big. Even some of my best eaters of all time have gotten to adult size in about a year and a half. And that's with consistent food and with them just being endless pits, is the best way I can describe it. But about 2 feet at about a year old is about standard. They wouldn't get too much longer than that. If anything, they would get a little bit more girthy, or if you feed them too much, they'd get a little bit obese. But these guys just ate a few days ago, so they're still looking full. But there you go, guys. Now we're gonna try to leave this orange dream boy out here, and we're gonna try to put the spot nose back because he's acting crazy. And then let's get something that is probably about a year and a half old. Okay, guys, so on to our next animal. We've got this beautiful GHI butter pinstripe female that's got this beautiful paradox marking down here. It looks like somebody rubbed some bleach on her and messed up her pattern. But this girl is right at about a year and a half old, and she's right at about 1,100-1,200 grams. Okay, so she is just about reaching her sexual maturity and her adult size. There's still a lot more growing she could do. She could actually triple in size and in weight and mass. She won't get too much longer than this. She's probably about 4 foot, if I should guess. She's probably about 4 feet. And she is a very healthy, good example of what your snake would look like at a year and a half if they were consistently eating once every week, or once most weeks at that. So again, about a year and a half old, roughly 1,100-1,200 grams, about, again, a year and a half old, about 4 feet in length. So that's what you would expect, you know, about a year and a half, which is awesome because you get to go from that little tiny snake to, you know, a really good fun size snake. Don't think dirty now. A good size snake that you can really enjoy. You can take out, you know, take outside and, you know, show it off. And by this time, you know, even by like a half a year, they should be very, very comfortable with you, you know, completely relaxed, even if they were a little tense when you first acquired them and weren't really too happy with being held. With regular holding, by this age, all of that will pretty much go away for the most part, unless you get that 1 in a million that just wants to act up. She's got a little bit of stuck shed on her head, which is not uncommon, especially in the winter months where it gets a little bit dry. So I'm gonna pretty much skip this 2-year mark and just show you the biggest adult that I own, and she's probably about three years old if I remember. She's right at about 3 years old. So we'll skip a year and a half and we'll double that and go to about a 3-year-old snake. Let's get it. Okay guys, look at this behemoth. Okay, not all adult pythons are gonna be this big. She's just massive. At about a year old, she was already about 1,500 grams. She was just a freak of nature. They say that some parts of Africa and Ghana are known to have essentially the big gene, the big versions of ball pythons. It's just kind of like how us humans, we have these people that are like 6.5 feet tall. It's pretty much the same thing. Now, another thing is why she looks so fat. She's actually full of eggs, and I think she's probably got about 8 of them inside of her, and she should be laying them within the next month. So this is about as big of an example as I can show you of a ball python and how big they're gonna get. They should never get any bigger than this, okay? And as you can see with my hands, it's not that big. So, you know, people, you know, have a hard time of, you know, especially if you're younger, getting your parents to buy you a snake. They just think that these things are going to get extremely massive. They might see this and think this is massive. It's not, you know, and if you get it as a baby, it'll grow with you in the family. So it's not going to be something that you're going to just jump right into and get something this massive. I never recommend anybody going out and buying adult ball pythons unless they've got experience with them. So start small, start with the baby, and then work your way up to something like this. That way you guys grow together, you learn to trust each other, and you know, it just makes the experience that much better. But I'm gonna show you one more time the baby that we started the video out with, and then you can really see the size comparison, and then we're gonna wrap up this video. Okay guys, there you go. You go from this little worm right here to this behemoth. And this girl is an absolute sweetheart, guys. I mean, look, I've got my hand right in front of her face. She's not trying to bite me. Now, if anything, I'm more worried about this little one trying to bite me than this one, because when they're younger, they're just not used to you. They're more tense. As you can see, her neck is cocked back in an S position. That's a defensive position. As you can see, she's getting anxious. It's not that she's aggressive. It actually has nothing to do with aggression. It's actually a defensive mechanism, and I will talk about that in another video at a later time. But people have a misconception that snakes are aggressive and they attack. No, they are defensive. They're scared that you as a giant is going to come and kill it. So it's doing a defensive motion as like a last-ditch effort to fight off a predator. So I will talk about that in another video, but I'm not going to keep her out too much longer because she's anxious, she's insecure, and I want to get her back to where she feels more comfortable, more secure, and we'll get her handled more at a later time. So without further ado, guys, let's get into the outro and end this video. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap up this video. Hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you did find it interesting, please let me know. Give the video a thumbs up on the way out, and if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. That way you can see more videos. I want to start doing a lot more educational videos. Really want to help out the new guys the new guys and gals that are coming into the industry, and I want to kind of help you guys get to that next level. So if you guys want to see more of that stuff, please let me know and check out the future content, guys. Also, links in the description will take you over to my Facebook and my Instagram, where you'll see pictures and posts that are all related to the reptile industry. So I'll see you guys there. Peace.